Are you ready to grow brand awareness, leads, and authority online? Well, keep listening. I'm Ashleigh, host of the Market Your Service podcast. I'm sharing tried and true methods and emerging trends that will help your business level up. So let's get it.
Hey, it's Ashleigh here. And if you are just starting with your business or if you are trying to scale up, this video is for you. We are going to go over the top things that you have to do in order to get your business to the next level. And that means whether you've been in business for 5 years or more, or you're just starting out and you want to set the right foundation. So if that sounds interesting to you, make sure you tune in. I'm a big proponent of owning the land, and I have a podcast episode and a video here on YouTube that talks about my philosophy around that. I think it's really important to have ownership over your main channels when it comes to your marketing, your message, and how you run your business online. However, there are people who are just starting out, they just have an idea and they're trying to test the market and they don't really want to dive too much into investing too much in their minimum viable product or minimum viable service. And so I wanted to create this video to be a resource for not only those folks who are just starting out, but those who are in that, what we call the messy middle. Usually it's between 5 to 7 years of business. You have your first website and it's gotten you this far, and you realize, okay, we've expanded our service offerings. We have so much more work and case studies and things to feature on the website, but it's taking a lot of time to figure out how to make those changes on the website, or either they don't have time or they don't have the knowledge to actually make the changes because their first website was built by somebody who did everything in code or something like that. So those are two common scenarios that I find myself discussing with potential clients. That's what we'll cover in the first segment of this video. If you want startup, be sure to listen towards the end of the video so that you can get the information from a startup perspective. Now, let's get started with the 5 to 7 business. So you're in the messy middle with your 5 to 7 year business. Your website is probably outdated and doesn't reflect where you are now and where you're going. So what do you do? The first thing you can do, and I'm going from least evasive to more evasive, and that is to update the copy on your website. Having updated copy that connects with your ideal client, and I mean their ideal client now, not the one that you had 5 years ago, because chances are that client has evolved if your business has grown and you're in a position where you want to make changes to your website in the first place, right? So focus on that copy and collaborate with an SEO professional so that they can help you get the data you need so you can use the right keywords. If you're going to redo your copy, you might as well do some keyword research and make sure that you're being found for the right keywords, right? If you're going to do that work anyway, you might as well do it. An SEO professional can help give you this information and say, okay, here's how we can add these keywords to your copy. Here's how we can tweak the language so that it better suits your ideal client or your ideal donor. If you're a nonprofit, really just speak their language and let them know, like, listen, I got you. I understand you. I know your struggles. I know the problems and challenges that you're facing, and I have solutions for them. You want that copy to feel like you just read their mind. The best way to do this, in my opinion, is to talk to people, talk to potential clients, talk to your current clients, see what language they actually use, and be able to incorporate that. And try not to use a ton of jargon either. That's something that I know sometimes I'm guilty of doing that too, because I don't realize some words are jargony, but they are. And so you have to, tweak it a little bit. So copy is the first thing. The second thing is making sure that the imagery is reflective of where you're going to. We already have a video on the channel specifically about the shot list that you need to add variety to the images on your website. So you can check that video out. But I'm just going to touch on the fact that having in action photos on your website, having recent photos on your website. You don't want a photo of you from 5 years ago. And then, somebody sees you at a marketing event and your hair was red and now it's brown or blue and people don't recognize you. You want to make sure that the face they see on your online presence is the face that they see in person. You change your appearance in some way, try to keep those photos updated. I like to do photo shoots at least twice a year, but what I end up doing is like monthly or quarterly mini shoots. And that helps me, with my content marketing, but it also helps me to be able to refresh photos on the website as needed, especially if you have new promotions. So that's another thing. So First layer is editing the copy. We're going from least resistance to most resistance in terms of timeline and things like that. Obviously, this is going to be adjusted based on your business, the time you have, the team you have, and their expertise. We're just going to go from one to the other. So we talked about copy, we talked about images. The next thing is the website itself. So making sure that when people arrive on your website, that the experience is congruent to what it feels like to meet you in person. So that can mean, making sure that your branding is all consistent everywhere. So anywhere people can find you, if it's LinkedIn, if it's Instagram, if it's Facebook, wherever you are, making sure that everything is consistent so they don't get this psychological stop in their brain when they're looking at your LinkedIn and reading your posts and the tone of your content. And then they go to your website and like, wow, this feels really different. So that kind of touches on copy, but also brand consistency. And then making sure the website is accessible. We use a great tool for the websites that we build that helps to make sure that your website is accessible for all audiences. That is great for people to be able to access the information on your website, but it also adds a layer to show that you actually care. While right now it's not mandatory in the sense that Google is not going to blacklist your site if it's not accessible, there are negative impacts to SEO if your website's not accessible. And then there's this whole layer of doing good in the world and accommodating diversity and what it means to opt out of accessibility. So that's another thing that I do. In your general marketing strategy, making sure that you have funnels that drive traffic to your website and to a specific landing page so that you can track how many people are going there, where they're coming from. Are they converting? Like, are they clicking on the calls to action that are on that page? Are they booking a call? Whatever that thing is, just making sure that process is actually mapped out and implemented, and then having a few of your team members test it out. One woman that I follow on Instagram, her name is Monique Bryan. She says, always inspect what you expect. And I think that is a great quote to live by. And once she said that, I said, yes, I got to take this and put it in my back pocket because it's something that I need to do as a business owner too. Sometimes we set something up and it works great the first time. And then, a year goes by and we don't check it again. And then we're like, why aren't any leads coming through this? Oh, because the link was broken or something weird happened, or you updated your website and something broke on the landing page and now the buttons don't work. And your customers aren't usually going to go to your contact form and send you an email and be like, oh, I tried to click on this button and it didn't work. Some of your greatest fans will probably do that, but the majority of people will not. They'll just go somewhere else and then that'll be that, and you'll lose that customer. Inspect what you expect. And then the other thing that you can do is try to implement, along with your marketing strategy, some form of promotion or initiative that's going to help you break out this new service or launch this new product or whatever the new phase of your business, whatever it's going. Even if it's the same thing and you're just doing it better, you can almost use it as a mini launch. You can create a campaign around it. And when I say campaign, if you want to do something low barrier to entry, maybe you're not doing any sort of paid media, that's fine. You can focus on email and social campaigns. But if you want to add something to it, you can add a layer and do some sponsored posts around that. But ultimately, you just want to make sure that everything is congruent and consistent so that when people are engaging with you online, they get a sense of who you are and what it's like to work with you before they even sit down with you on a call or anything like that. So some of the 5 to 7 is going to also work for the startup. But now we're going to switch gears and talk more about specifically startup. As I mentioned, big fan of Own the Land. Please have some sort of presence that is not just a social media page. I know that there are a bunch of resources out there just to get you started to test the market. If you are a startup that has an idea, it's not a business yet. And this is a gray area that maybe my unpopular opinions are going to come out right now. But if you have an idea and you haven't been profitable with that idea yet, or you haven't made money on that idea yet, is it really a business or is it an idea? If you have an idea, which I think would be classified as an idea, go ahead and start with social media. Test it out. Talk to people in your network. Start an email list. It doesn't have to be anything too crazy. If you've gotten some traction with your idea and it's now a business because you've made money on it and you know that it's a viable thing that people actually want, then you're transitioning into business. At that point, you do need a website. I definitely think you need to have a website, even if it's just a landing page. We have a special for startups starting at $1,500. We can get you a website set up, but you should have a presence that you own with a domain that you own. And then depending on the industry, if you want to build trust, it's always a good idea to have your email address also match your domain. It's very low cost. Obviously, we know once you're in business, there are investments that you have to make in order to grow the business. So I think some of the initial investments need to be investing in a key marketing strategy with at least one simple funnel to get started, investing in a website that you own so that you can track the data properly. And obviously, what comes with that is email, which is optional, but having at least one simple call to action, even if it's a one-page website, just have something up there that you own. Because if you focus on social media and then the algorithm changes and all of a sudden, you went from hundreds of people seeing your post to like 50 people seeing your post, that's going to significantly impact your business before it's even gotten deep roots. And so we want to be in a position where you have the capacity to grow. I love plants. So I compare that to like putting your seedling in a pot that is suitable for it. Not something that they're going to grow out of too early, but not something so big that the plant won't thrive. And that's the same thing with your business. You don't need a website that is so complex in the early stages of your business. You need something that will work for you at that stage in your business, but also build on a platform that allows you to grow without having to change platforms every 5 years. I think that that's really important too. Evaluating the business and the platform that you're using so that okay, this platform has staying power, it's scalable, I can add things to it, I can grow from it, and then I don't have to have a totally new system that myself and my team are learning every 5 years. Because typically, on average, websites are getting redone every 5 to 7 years. Usually when you get to that point in business, there's a large enough shift where it makes sense to do some sort of revamp or rebrand or something like that. Starting out small, having something that you own, and being able to significantly track your marketing efforts is really going to help you. Because remember, we talk about SEO on this channel a lot, and you want to make sure that you're setting the roots to grow the oak tree, and it's going to take time to do that. So the sooner you start, the better. It's almost like investing too. When you start to invest, they say the best time to invest was yesterday. Over time, that's where you grow that SEO equity. So starting where you are, even with a simple website, is key so that you can set the right foundation for your business. Thank you so much for watching this video. If you have any questions, please put them in the comments below or send me an email, Ashleigh@digitallygrounded.co, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.